Coming up, businesses, organizations, and churches come together to help out minors affected by the Black Jewel bankruptcy. Members of a Harlan County family killed in a fire earlier this year now have a lasting tribute in place. And police in one eastern Kentucky county are investigating after several cars are broken into.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6:01 on Wednesday, July the 10th. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning. Well, if you have anything to do outside today, you're going to want to limit that amount of time that you're going to spend there and make sure you drink tons of fluids because it's going to be warm. Let's bring Brandon in this morning. And Brandon, some of our northern counties are seeing a heat advisory today. What does that mean? What can they expect?
Basically, that means the heat index will be between 95 and 100 degrees. That's the feels like temperature we talk about all the time. But again, it's going to be hot regardless if you're in the advisory or not. So your best advice to do things, if you have to do outdoor work, do it this morning early or do it late into the afternoon, evening hours when it gets a little bit cooler. Let's take a look at the cameras this morning. We'll go to Buffalo Mountain here in Perry County. A few clouds around, but not too much in the way of fog in that area. Live pinpoint Doppler radar clean sweeps across the board this morning. Temperatures in the 70s as we start your day there. We're looking at 60s and 70s there across the region this morning. So a mild and muggy start to the day. You want to wash the car? I would hesitate to do that today because of the chance for some scattered showers and storms this afternoon. Tomorrow that cold front comes through, but Friday just a straight chance for a shower, mainly early, so I think you'll be in better shape with that. I'll have the rest of that forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. Well, Kentucky State Police are on the scene of an officer-involved shooting in Powell County. It happened in Clay City on Ashley Hollow Road Tuesday night. The shooting reportedly happened between 7 and 8 p.m. after an off-duty sheriff's deputy found a vehicle that was involved in a police chase earlier that day. After a confrontation and a brief struggle, the man driving the vehicle tried to take the gun from the deputy. The deputy then fired his gun, killing the man whose identity is not known at this time. There are no reports of injuries or other deaths. The incident is still under investigation. Of course, this is a developing story, and we will continue to update it as we get more information. Well, a little more than 1 week has passed since Black Jewel Mines filed for bankruptcy, causing miners' checks to bounce. The situation is leaving miners in tough positions trying to make ends meet. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talks to officials about how the community is pitching in to help.
Black Jewel miners say they are trying to stay optimistic, but each day that passes without answers is making it harder to keep their spirits high.
You work for a coal outfit and you're thinking you're going to get paid and then you don't. Or you do get paid and the check's bounced. So, I mean, it's upsetting, especially when you have kids and house payments and car payments and stuff like that.
This difficult situation is why community members from Harlan County met Tuesday morning to see how each of them can pitch in with miners' immediate needs.
You know, somebody said they need groceries. Well, we don't want one group to give them a food box and somebody else give them a $100 grocery voucher with dollars or wherever. We want to try to spread the love as much as we can throughout everybody that's impacted.
Local businesses, nonprofits, organizations, and community members are stepping up to help pay bills, get medications, or any other need they may have. Hopefully, the miners can get back on their feet soon, but officials say until then, the community will continue to step up and stand behind them.
We're going to get through this, and obviously we're going to have a lot of resources coordinated over the next 2 days for these folks, and then we'll see how we do through the rest of the week, and if we need to do more next week, we'll go right back at it.
Mosley says if anyone wants to make monetary donations to make checks payable to the Harlan County Community Action Agency or with Love from Harlan. In Harlan County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Mosley says volunteers expect to be handing out food in boxes for miners and their families soon. Meanwhile, staff at the Harlan County Community Action Agency say their main focus right now is to help enroll miners coming in from Black Jewel on unemployment. The agency is also offering services for water and electrical utility assistance for those households. They are also helping miners to get in touch with faith-based organizations in Harlan as well.
Anyone out there that just needs assistance that's been involved in this terrible situation, we're here and we'll do everything that we can to help you.
Employees are required to bring an ID and the last check stub they were paid before the one that bounced. Now, also in Harlan County, a permanent memorial is now in place to remember 3 lives taken in a devastating fire earlier this year. 2 twin toddlers, Alex and Olivia Howard, were killed in the blaze. Their mother, Allison, died just days later from her injuries. WYMT's Connor James met with Allison's parents there, who say this would not have been possible without the community.
The grieving process is a road only we can walk.
We miss him. We just miss him.
Vicki Blakely and her husband Randy lost their daughter Allison Howard and her 3-year-old twins Alex and Olivia back in April. Today they are putting the finishing touches on this new memorial that now sits on their grave.
You know, they shouldn't be here, but they are. They're in heaven, but at least it memorializes them.
Just like the stone-turned sculpture, this has new meaning.
It wouldn't have been possible without the people.
The angel stands symbol for Allison and the twins. The memorial is also a sign of community, of family.
It's sad, but we feel blessed that we've got people that think enough of us to help and do stuff like this.
The funeral and memorial altogether totaled more than $10,000. A tab picked up by people near and far. Vicki's family did not have to pay 1 cent.
Just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. That's all we can say. They paid for people paid for the funeral, and they paid for this. And there's just really no words to describe how it feels.
Sometimes no words are needed because at the end of the day, it's about keeping the ones we love in our memories.
I feel like there's a little closure.
Even when those memories...
Allison, she would have been very happy. Very happy.
Are all we have left.
Again, that was Connor James reporting. Now, Blakely says she plans on starting an organization in memory of Allison that will help get young kids nice clothing. As we reported on before, Allison's husband, Chad Howard, was the only survivor of that fire. He is in a burn unit down in Georgia. In last check, we are told he has been able to eat well on his own. He still has an IV in him, and the skin he's been given is taking well. Family members say he is starting to walk on a walker a little bit. Well, in other news this morning, the search continues for 3 missing inmates in Perry County. Police are still looking for Kenneth Spurlock, James Reed, and Stephen Smith. It was just before 6 o'clock Monday night when 4 inmates made a break for it.
We were picking up trays, and somewhere in that area, a set of keys were dropped.
Keys that locked and unlocked doors to inmate cells and the outside world.
They were actually secured in their cells. They had to go through 3 locked doors to get out of the jail.
3 locked doors, 2 front doors, and just seconds later, they were sprinting across the Walmart parking lot.
And I was actually watching my lobby cameras, and I saw them run out, and I went in pursuit after them, and along with my other deputies that were right behind me.
They captured one of them, as you can see in this video that was sent to us, but the other 3 made it across the parking lot and Highway 80 and possibly into Airport Gardens.
We have been out following leads.
The trio were in jail on separate drug charges and are not believed to be violent, but police say you should not confront them and just give them a call if you see them.
This is staff error. I apologize to our community for any kind of confusion or any worries that they may have, but we will locate these gentlemen. We will put them back behind bars.
Trying to make sure this never happens again. Now, if you know where any of the inmates are, you are asked to call KSP Post 13 in Hazard at 606-435-6069. The deputy jailer who lost the keys has been suspended. Now, police are investigating this morning after a string of thefts in Paintsville. Officials say 4 cars were broken into this week alone. Most have been on 4th and 5th Street, but police say it is not contained to that area. Items like laptops, wallets, purses, and sports equipment have been taken. Police are telling people to keep their cars locked and parked in well-lit areas and to keep valuables in the house.
They're just trying to grab whatever they can that's easy. Yeah. And if people wouldn't make stuff so easy to get, they probably wouldn't break into cars as much.
Police are reviewing surveillance footage. We are told they have a possible suspect, but did not identify them. It is a murder case in southern Kentucky that has resulted in a lot of questions. A Pulaski County family is still seeking justice 25 years after a young woman and her 4-year-old half-brother were brutally killed. Clayton Gibson believes more than one person is responsible for the murder of his siblings. Police believe Linda Gibson was the target, but the child saw it and was murdered because he would have been able to identify the killer.
To ease my mind, I just have to think that they're in heaven and with Jesus, and there they can't be hurt no more.
Even after 25 years, Gibson believes the murders could be solved with something as simple as a phone call from just the right person. He says people were afraid to come forward in 1994, but possibly so many years later, those fears would ease.
Bit of a foggy start in some locations this morning, but the big thing you're going to notice when you walk out the door, the air is going to smack you in the face. It is mild and muggy as we start our trek into this Wednesday. Let's take a look at the cameras outside WYMT. Some fog off in the distance. Not too bad. We can still see the businesses across the street here, Black Gold Boulevard going over toward Highway 15. But again, some of those sensors, Ashland less than a mile visibility, Harlan and Williamsburg at 5 miles of visibility. Remember, anything less than 5 is dense fog, so just be careful of that. 70s across the board this morning with the exception of Harlan, Somerset, and Monticello. That's basically the only game in town there in the 60s this morning, but even still, it's still mild and muggy. Looking at temperatures that are anywhere between basically what they were yesterday, like that is in Somerset, to about 5 degrees warmer over in Logan. Iced coffee forecast. Yep, you're going to need some of that today. Extra ice, too, and an extra large cup of that as we get up to right around 90 this afternoon. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. And thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Still to come, we introduce you to one bird who knows how to boogie. You won't want to miss this story.